Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. It is the conversation on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning here in the city of Abuja, the FCT, and I am Sagir Ibrahim.
My name is Adesuwa. I'll see you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sagir.
Good morning, Adesuwa.
It's good to see you today.
How was your night?
Very well, thank you.
So, okay, you decided to mourn today. When I wore black yesterday,
yes, I mean, I have
you didn't
to
mourn your chief of army staff. It seems like what I told you yesterday got to you somewhat.
I'm a fast learner. I learn really quick.
Okay, no problem. Anyways, I still have reservations, by the way. Yesterday, you know, there were a couple of things that happened following the death of the chief of army staff. First of which was the directive by the president, you know, to honor those who died alongside the chief of army staff. And the directive which followed were first that it would be a work-free Monday for all members of the armed forces of Nigeria. And the second was that flags across the FCT be flown at half-mast to honor the chief of army staff as well as those who lost their life. Third among that is also the postponement of the Federal Executive Council meeting. But unfortunately, in the FCT, around the secretariat axis and even the city gate, we see that these flags are flown at full mast. Now, let's even forget about the fact that it is even criminal to disobey the orders of the president. But then again, what message are they trying to pass to members of the armed forces who have sworn and taken an oath to protect the territorial integrity of this nation? At what point does it become necessary for them to just do these little things to show honor and to show respect for those who lost their lives while on the Nigerian army uniform or while in the line of duty?
They probably didn't get the memo.
Exactly. So moving on, we'll take the quote of the day right about now.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
Welcome back, and do remember that you could connect with the conversation across our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At TOS Television. You could also read some of our content and watch us live on our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. You could also watch us on YouTube and as well subscribe and like our page on YouTube at TOS TV Network. It is development across Africa now, and we start with the first story where 15 persons were declared dead and over 170 children fared missing in volcanic eruption in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Nearly 2 decades after the last volcanic eruption in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the country experienced another eruption at Mount Nyiragongo on Saturday night. According to UNICEF, more than 150 children have been separated from their families and over 170 children were declared missing. At least 15 people have died, including 9 in a traffic accident as residents fled. 4 tried to escape Munzenze prison in Goma and 2 burned to death, the government confirmed.
Very terrible and horrifying. You can only imagine. Like I saw a video of the volcanic eruption and, you know, the leaked fire just flowing. And you can only just but imagine what, what was happening in Congo, and I hope that relief comes to them really soon. Yeah, it's really terrible. Yeah. All right, moving away from DR Congo to Egypt. They were the first batch of raw materials to produce 2 million doses of China's Sinovac COVID-19 vaccines has been delivered to Egypt. The Chinese embassy has said Egypt disclosed. According to its government, Egypt will start to locally produce the Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine in June at the plant of the Egyptian holding company for biological products and vaccines.
It's quite good news that we now see following the president of France's declaration that Africa
should be allowed to produce their own vaccines.
Yes. So this is good news.
Exactly.
Okay, going to the Ethiopia-Tigray crisis, U.S. imposes visa restrictions on economic and security aid to Ethiopia. Visa restrictions have been placed by the United States on Ethiopians and Eritrean officials accused of of not taking meaningful steps to end hostilities in the 6-month-old war in Tigray. The Tigray crisis erupted in November when Ethiopia's government launched an offensive to oust the region's then ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front.
Yes, I mean, the US had warned them, I think it was about a month ago, you know, they told them to cease fire and I think people from the Tigray region should withdraw their forces and all that. And if that wasn't happening, they were going to take measures and steps, you know.
Yes, it's also important that these visa restrictions are placed to ensure that those who are found wanting or those responsible for some of these crimes are not allowed to flee the country and they face judgments in the countries where these things happen. Yes. Okay, so we go straight to COVID-19 updates across Africa.
Mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget and the budget they look, some they sleep, they're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbeneghu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back. It's newspaper headlines on the conversation, and we start quickly with Blueprint newspaper. And the obvious banner headline there is Header Farmer Crisis. Buhari okays ranching, slams Southern governors on open grazing. There are two riders just underneath. Says foreign resolutions, no solutions to Header's farmers clashes. Governor's position is of questionable legality, and this can be found in page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. Underneath, we see pictures from the left, former President Muhammadu Buhari being paid a condolence visit by the governors of Ekiti State and some other governors on the death of the Chief of Army Staff. You could find these stories as well as other stories on the Blueprint newspaper of this morning.
Okay, moving away from the Blueprint newspaper to the Daily Times. Starting from the very top, the headline there says, about 100 killed in Benue villages. And that story is on page 5 of the Daily Times. Then to the banner headline on the Daily Times newspaper this morning, Presidency defends headers, dismisses Southern governor's position as illegal. That story is on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. There are a couple of other headlines on the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Just get yourself a copy of the newspaper so you can be fully abreast of everything that's happening on it.
Okay, and in Business Day newspaper this morning, the banner headline there states, Nigeria's rising insecurity shows up in road transport data. And beside that headline, we see manufacturers say positive GDP growth masks sectors through health. Underneath, there's a rider as sector records 3.4% growth in Q1. Underneath that, we see inside special reports on Akwa Ibom health sector. This and other stories can be found on the Business Day newspaper of this morning. Do grab a copy.
And so the last headline we're going to be looking at this morning, that's the Nigerian News Direct. A couple of interesting headlines on the Nigerian News Direct this morning. So I'm just going to read out a few of them to you, starting with the banner headline, and it's on insecurity. Buhari summons Niger governor, others as protesters block Kaduna-Abuja highway. That story is on page 3. And just beside the picture of the day, one feared dead as Lagos police foil attempts to set station ablaze. RAP's minority caucus kicks as Buhari rejects Southern governors, Southwest APC ban on open grazing. And then the last headline I'm going to be reading out today is Abiodun Sanwo-Olu signed memorandum of understanding on Lagos Ogun Joint Development Commission. And that is it on the Nigerian News Direct this morning.
Okay, so moving forward, we'll be going on a quick break now, and when we come back, Adesua will be taking you on our favorite segment on the conversation, which is What's Trending. Do stay with us.
Always remember, Tim and I have been creative design. We really like it, but you deserve a break. You can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge. Now available in the 450 grams pouch.
Welcome back to the conversation on TOS Television Network. And it's about that time where I take you through, Sagir said my favorite segment of the conversation. It wasn't wrong. So yeah, it's what's trending on social media. And before I get into all of that, as always, you have to be a part of the conversation, right? So you have to follow TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube so you do not miss out on anything. And also you can watch the conversation and other programs on www.tostvnetwork.com, and that's our website. All right, back to what's trending on social media. So the hashtag NYSC has been trending on social media in the last 24 hours. NYSC is the National Youth Service Corps, and it has been trending on social media because a bill to scrap, the program, the NYSC, the one-year compulsory NYSC program, has passed second reading, in the National Assembly, and a whole lot of reaction have trailed, that development. So I'm going to read out a few tweets that I got for you. The first one is from Senator Shehu Sani, and it says, the NYSC should not be scrapped. It's needed now more than ever before. Many Nigerians have never known anywhere other than their hometown and university town, even not for NYSC. Its mandate should be expanded to give participants full military training in the face of insecurity. And then this is from Mr. Ayola in response to Senator Shehu Sani, and he says, scrap the NYSC scheme now. We can't afford our graduates being kidnapped by terrorists. Give them a lump sum of their allowance for them to start something with their lives. And at Lovely saying, I wasn't even planning on going safe. How can I serve my fatherland when my fatherland no fit serve me? Please scrap it in bulk, NYC. And then the last is from our Southman 47. Can't believe some of y'all want the NYSC to continue. Well then, they should make it a choice for y'all that want to experience anything that the scheme has to offer. So Sagi, I want to ask you, how was your NYSC experience?
Well, it was quite an adventure for me. I served in the Southwest, even though I'm from the northern part of Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
So, but when you look at the responses from the tweet, especially from that of Lovely, you see what I was talking about earlier. She said something about my fatherland where no fit serve me.
Exactly.
You see, by the time we keep on doing this little things that keep giving Nigerians the avenue or the thought that my nation wants so much from me, but is not willing to give anything to me. My nation wants me to sacrifice a lot, but it's not willing to sacrifice for me. People will become unwilling, to play their part in nation building and nation development. And this is why it's very, very important, for you to do, for the government especially, to do all that is necessary for the citizens to have an unshaken belief in the administration, And I mean, you can't just, you have no choice than to understand with Nigerians when they say, I don't want my child going to so and so place to serve. You will not expect somebody from, say, the east or the southwest to push his child or his brother or his sibling to the north when he has never been there before. And coupled with the things that the stories I've been hearing from the north, you'll be like, okay, everywhere in the north, there are certain things happening there. I don't want him to go and get kidnapped and something like that. So you can't help but understand their own sentiment of wanting the scheme to be scrapped.
So where do you stand? Do you want it to be scrapped or not? Do you think it should be, okay, not one, do you think it should be scrapped or not?
Well, for me, I would say this, that I understand both parties, but as for where I stand, well, I understand where both parties are coming from.
All right, but I just think, the whole essence of the NYSC scheme, I think the initial idea was to promote, the oneness of Nigerians, the one Nigerian.
And that's why it's so important.
So it's important. So, but also, the level of insecurity, and that we keep hearing NYSC members are kidnapped, they died on the way, and all of that stuff. So,
perhaps if the scheme is restructured, it might work. But on the other hand, they can't continue with the way they are going.
Exactly. So they should just look to us, restructuring and just remodeling and just see how, to better fit the times that we're in now. And I think that's
desperate times deserve desperate measures.
Exactly. That's what we're looking at. Okay, that's it for what's trending on social media here on The Conversation. We'll go on a break now, and then when we come back, it will be time to bring you, of course, the crux of the conversation, and that is the big story.
Make it calm down. Eat a farm say sabi. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. It's still The Conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. And do remember, you could also connect with us on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm at TOS TV Network. You could also check our website, read our content, and as well watch us live at www.tostvnetwork.com. You could also watch us and like our YouTube channel, as well as subscribe at TOS TV Network. It is the big story, and today is going to be focused on politics and examining the trend of defections to the ruling party. The discussion focuses on the defection of highly placed government officials from other opposition parties, especially the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressive Congress. Now, joining us to discuss all of this and even more is Mr. Anthony Ehilebo, and he is a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on The Conversation this morning, Mr. Anthony.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, yes. So in the last year till date, we have witnessed quite a number of high-profile defections from the PDP to the APC, and be it governors or both federal and state lawmakers, and quite a number of other cases. Now, I want to ask, what seems to be the issue, or rather the cause of these defections?
Well, you have to understand that there are different reasons people defect. One may be what they're being offered. For instance, you might want to see an Akpabio who is used to Sucre, who is used to the life of lush, may not have been able to survive in opposition. Being offered the minister of the Niger Delta, where he superintends a lucrative ministry like the MDA, like the Niger Delta Development Command. You can see with all the brouhaha that has gone on within that particular parastatal, that there's a reason why he defected, and that reason has become very apparent. And then you now have political ambition. For instance, you want to look at the person of David Umahi, who may perhaps have been promised the opportunity of becoming the president of the country. And such an offer is one that sometimes is too juicy to decline and refuse. So in all of this, you'll find that it is mostly driven by personal, not an altruistic drive or any of that seems to suggest that it is for the people. Even the man who recently defected in Cross River says it was for the people. But I mean, even when he had the power to affect the lives of people, how much did he do? So it doesn't suggest to me that his intention is one that speaks to the issue of the people. It is more a selfish and self-centered decision and agenda. And it also tells to the lack of morality or the lack of a sense of loyalty to the platforms that have given you this position where you become a prime target for defection. But again, I must then turn my focus on the people that are requesting that these people defect to them. Why do they need politicians from the other side to come and join their party? Do they not? I mean, I was going to ask that, yes. Do they not already have enough having power at the center and having more governors? How about pursuing their ideology, if they have any, or pursuing the what they promised in their manifestos, the agenda of their government, if they do have an agenda? How about fulfilling this agenda and living up to the expectation of the people instead of poaching and trying to, of course, this works both ways. PDP should at the same time as an opposition party be looking to poach governors who have a difference of opinion. Of course, if you remember clearly, before the 2020 election, and indeed I was one of the critical agents that facilitated the move of Governor Obaseki to the PDP in Edo State. So you do have this necessitated movement. Of course, that can be filed under the realm of the need to survive. Of course, it's another reason Governor Obaseki needed to survive politically and had to take that move, or rather perish or be buried as the man in Lagos was.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Yes. Okay, Mr. Hilebo, you stated quite a lot. In fact, you answered a follow-up question I had. But then again, let me ask another one. Okay, so in this situation, we've been able to establish that a lot of these defections are personal and might not even be politically driven from an altruistic perspective. So I'm going to ask, okay, these governors now, or these senators, what's your opinion about them decamping or leaving a particular party to another party and living with the mandates they were given? Do you think there should be a law barring or preventing them from living with positions that they got from a previous party? Instead, they should relinquish these positions and live as basically nobodies if they are decamping to if they are decamping to a political party. So what's your take on that?
You see, this question you have asked is akin to asking a man who has left with a diamond to return diamond and go where he has left to. Do you even think that by the time he returns to that house, they will open the door for him? If you were to return that diamond back to where he's coming from, the whole essence of personality capture, political capture, or political poaching is the office itself. It is not particularly the individual that you want, except in rare cases of someone like Akpabio, which was an individual capture. I think the subsequent captures we've seen have been about state capture, about the official capture of the person's office. So not particularly the person himself. So if you were to ask me, or ask me my opinion, asking them to resign from the office or whatnot is more or less the reason. You're asking them to drop the reason why they have been poached or why they have been offered entreaties to attend to that particular issue. I dare say that we live in a time when ideologies do not seem to hold any value to certain people.
Okay.
And it then tells you or paints a political landscape that is devoid of the essentials. And essentials of politics is to be able to provide governance. But essential of being a politician in a political party is to deliver good governance. And where this becomes a story of yourself or your agenda, then we have missed the point. And the point should always be service to the people.
Okay, so let's look at PDP as an opposition party losing strategic members. I don't know they've seen the exit of 2 governors in strategic state, as well as federal lawmakers and state lawmakers. Do you think this translates to the PDP not having its house in order?
When you say the PDP not having its house in order, it will mean that the PDP is no longer capable of holding elections. The PDP has not held NEC meetings. The PDP has not had functional NWC. The PDP has not functioned as it should. I dare say that given the current economic climate, the PDP has stood out against all opinions that people hold. I'm an insider. I do know that it has functioned, at least functioned. That it has excelled in its function is another matter. And these issues are issues that when the opportunity presents itself, such as at the end of this year when there's going to be a change in the governance structure of the PDP, some of these issues may be addressed. But I will always tie back the defections to selfish and self-centered intent of the individuals involved. Because when you question their motives, you will find that it is not people-centered. It is not centered on an ideology, but rather survival or the ambition that some of these individuals nurse for our future dates. So there are being politicians who want to see 2 years ahead into 2023 and want to strategically position themselves. You see, when you say strategically positioning yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that some of them think that they will get these positions, but people have come to learn that just by being at the table, you become eligible. You become eligible for the fallouts. Or, for instance, if you are situated in a particular region and you have been situated a long time before an election, when that election comes, what happens or usually happens is that every financial derivative or financial resource that is thrown at that particular endeavor, be it a political election, be it a rally, be it a political association, is channeled through that single individual. So what you must realize is that that person is thinking of a future savings. He is thinking that, yes, he's going to earn some money by strategically positioning himself as the main finance man for that particular endeavor. So it then means that he will be given the war chest to disburse. And if you are disbursing a war chest, it then means that you have political control. So you are the one that will finance the senatorial candidate. You are the one that will pay for the governor's entire campaign. And then it then means that he will have to be loyal to you. And you can further negotiate, if you become governor today because I'm giving you money, how many commissioners are you going to give me? What is it that you are going to give me when you get into office? We must look beyond the simple narrative that these people are defecting because they feel that the PDP can no longer, or whatever opposition party they belong to, can no longer sustain them. That is indeed one of the greatest deceptions that have been foisted on the Nigerian people, because if we all know our politicians, we are selfish, we are self-centered, and we have never thought about the people for one day.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning, Mr. Anthony. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for staying with us on the conversation this morning. Do not forget, you can be a part of the conversation and the TOS TV community by following us across all social media platforms. That is TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on YouTube. Subscribe so you do not miss out on anything. You can also watch the conversation and all the programs on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesu Alsui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for watching.